I know this is hard to believe, but the Obama administration, very hard to believe, at least for me it is, the Obama administration is pushing banks to make home loans to people. Wait, not just home loans with people. There's no period there. Let me start over again. The Obama administration is pushing banks to make home loans to people with weaker credit. Well, no, that can't be, right? That can't be. Because isn't that what got us in the mess? Isn't that this whole housing bubble, record foreclosures, all of that? I mean, isn't that what got us into this mess? At least that's what I've said. Now, I gotta believe that I must be wrong about that since we're doing it again. You know I don't really believe that. As a matter of fact, I know I'm not wrong about it. Here's the history lesson. Now, many of you, I remember once, before the election of President Obama, this was in 2008, the summer of 2008, talking about a housing bill that was co-sponsored by Senator Jim DeMint and Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann. So this was the summer of 2008. And I was talking about this idea of what got us in and is going to continue to get us in the mess. This was before Lehman Brothers crashed. This was a couple months before. Look, I am telling you that everything that we are suffering today is a result. If you haven't seen my Fed Up DVD, you better order it and watch it. Everything that has happened today is a result of failed government policy. Oh, we can jump all over Wall Street and we can jump all over the banking sector because that's the thing to do. Let's organize protests to blame the banks. We can do all that. Is there blame on Wall Street? Absolutely. There's greedy pigs in the banks, greedy pigs in Wall Street. And yes, they contributed to the problem. They were allowed to contribute to the problem because of failed policy by the government. So President Carter did a good thing. I happen to think, I don't have a lot of respect for Jimmy Carter as a president. I think he was the second worst president now that we've ever had. But he did do one thing. It was called the Community Reinvestment Act. And the Community Reinvestment Act was very simple. It was, look, and I'm really simplifying it. If you have a bank here in this low-income, poor area of the city, and you have these folks that live around this bank using your bank, and you are profiting from them using your bank, that's fine. We don't have a problem with that. Here's what we have a problem with. You need to take some of that profit and put it back in to that particular community to help that community grow and prosper. And there were banks that said, I'm not doing that, and they got out. And the banks that stayed there were held to a very strict, and it wasn't a lot. It was, I don't know the number, but it was a small percentage of their profits. And the banks that stayed in there were held to that, and they had to do certain things within the community to reinvest back into that community to help the community. It was a good program. It had a lot of merit to it, and I know that the president meant well, and I didn't even have a problem with it. And it plugged along through a lot of different administrations for years. Then Bill Clinton came along, and he decided, well, I'm going to take that Community Reinvestment Act, and we're going to put that bugger on steroids. And that's what he did. He decided that he would go to his appointed head of Fannie and Freddie Mac, Frank Raines, and he was going to go to Frank Raines. He said, look, Frank, here's the deal. You have got to have 50% of all the mortgages you hold have to be for low-income folks, not necessarily credit-worthy folks, 50% of your portfolio. Frank Raines thinking, well, that's a nice thought, but it's impossible because there is no market out there. There's no way of doing that. Doesn't matter. We'll find a way. Here's the way. We'll go to places like Washington Mutual Bank and Countrywide Mortgage and these guys, and they'll set up lending places around the country where these people can get approved for the banks. And then the loans. Then they went to the banks and said, look, here's the deal, banker. Just do what we tell you. Make the loan. It's no sweat off your nose because we're going to buy the loan back from you. So you don't have to worry about it. Just place it. Doesn't matter if they have credit worthiness. Make your money through your fees or whatever you're going to do. It's irrelevant. But we got to get 50% of our mortgage portfolios in this kind of lending. Just do it. And if you don't do it, you'll be pegged to racists and all these other things. That's what the government did. They basically put a gun to their head and said, do it. Don't worry about it. We're going to buy it from you. And that's exactly what happened. They bought it. Washington Mutual went out of business. Countrywide went out of business. Even after we gave them money, there were bailouts all over the country. The system started crumbling down. And here we are. Let's fast forward 5 years and 6 years. And here we are with the president of the United States saying, we got to do that again. You're kidding, right? No, we got to do that again. But Mr. President, that's what no, we have to do that again.